Hello and welcome to Abandoned Mind. On this channel we explore things that belong in the deeper and more sinister depths of this earth. In today's video we're going to talk about a story that had so much discrepancy between if it was true or not that even Snopes had to jump in and make an article explaining it. And that story is Gateway of the Mind. The reason that I believe this story got so much attention is that there is actually a video that supposedly depicts a man going crazy during one of the experiments. In this video I'm going to tell you a story, then I'll show you the main parts of the video. After you see a summary of the video, I'll tell you if the story has any legitimacy to it. The story begins in 1983 with a group of scientists who conducted this experiment in an unknown lab. These scientists thought that if a human has all their senses destroyed, that means that the person would be blind, deaf, nose blind. That's the only word I can think of for someone who can't smell. I'm also assuming this person probably doesn't feel either, but you probably can't feel if a stove is hot or anything like that. Okay, you can already tell that something is going to go wrong. I mean, for someone to have relied on all these senses to now losing them all, you'd think they'd go a little bit crazy. But the bigger question on the table is, who would allow this to happen to them for an experiment? One, I must admit, has very little evidence to back up. But the man who volunteered was an elderly man that supposedly had nothing to live for. I guess maybe he was feeling a bit suicidal. The scientists then performed an operation on the poor man to remove the sensory nerve connection. Now, with no way to interact with the outside world, this man would be alone in his own thoughts. At first, the man only spoke nonsensical sentences, but after 4 days, the man claimed that he could hear whispers in his head. Sounds like he might be getting a little bit schizophrenic to me, because he lost all of his senses. You know, you can't see, hear anything, so you're probably thinking, your mind's basically taking over all of your senses now, basically making them up. So that's what it seems to be, like an onset of schizophrenia. Then a couple of days later, the man said he could communicate back and forth with his dead wife. When the man started to spout information that only his relatives would know, many of the scientists gave up on the experiment out of fear and left. Makes sense to me, I'd give up too. A man is saying this creepy stuff, I'm like, I'm getting out of there. I don't even know why they're doing this experiment anyways, it's just a little bit crazy. After a week of communicating with the dead, the man became scared and said the voices were too much. The poor man said that he could both hear and see dead people's dreams. The man became too crazy and scared and started to claw at his face and eyes. At one point, it said he repeated the phrase, "No heaven, no forgiveness," for 5 hours. The man begged to be killed, but the scientists who thought he was too close to establishing a connection didn't want to kill him. They were like, "No, you're really close," as they thought. Obviously, this is an experiment they don't actually know for sure, but they wanted to make sure, I guess. Eventually, the scientist had to tie the man down because he was biting chunks of flesh off of himself. Once he was tied down, he cried for 2 weeks. Then he looked at the scientist and said his last words, "I have spoken with God, and he has abandoned us." The poor man then passed away. Pretty graphic story right there, isn't it? Well, you're in luck, because there's a video that goes right along with it. Okay, so that was the main video right there. I don't know if that makes you feel a bit more fearful of this story, or maybe you're a bit skeptical. But the fact that the main story was posted to Creepypasta should be a dead giveaway. But since there was a picture going around online of the supposed experiment, many people thought that there was some truth to the story. But let me ask you, if you cut off all of a man's senses, he probably isn't going to go that crazy. And if he does, it wouldn't be as long as the story explains. Also, it's very unlikely that a group of scientists would conduct an experiment for religious purposes. The fact that the man did have contact with God makes this even more unbelievable. Why would cutting off all of your senses be a way to contact God? I feel like praying would be a bit easier. Also, the video I showed you wasn't a video of that man. It's a video of Oliver de Saxon, who is known for turning himself into a human sculpture. In this video he was doing just that. That is clay on his face, not torn up flesh. There are also many other pictures and videos of his art online as well. It looks like you can rest easy now, knowing that our government isn't that crazy, because his story just simply isn't true. Oh, and the picture going online was of a spinal fluid tap, not a man about to rip his body into shreds. So, I hope you liked the video. Now you can rest easy knowing that the story is just a figure of an author's imagination. So, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this. Comment down below if you have any more ideas that you'd like me to do. Any ideas that I'm interested in, I might do. So, make sure you subscribe. Sorry for you. Bye.